What do you mean as soon as we're getting old?
No, well,
What
what were we talking about again anyway?
I don't know. What's this technology thing?
They're watching us.
Well, Shannon, you are correct. You get the best the best recent arrival to the channel award.
Yes, because you have things figured out right off the bat. It's great to see you, folks. Hope you guys didn't go through too bad of withdrawals. I will admit that today I was kind of getting things set for the stream. I'm going, you know what? Yeah, I've missed doing this. So I've missed you guys, and we're back in the game. For all you know, we have one new person here in the stream tonight. My name is Baron Ingle, and this gentleman here is Caradwin.
Oh.
And Caradwin is the guy that makes all the technology happen that you guys can't see. That's all around this room.
We'll give you a tour a little bit later.
Yeah. There's a lot of wires.
Yeah, a few miles. Anyway, so it has been 3 weeks now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So last weekend you had National Free Comics Day that Baron and his wife Smudge, who is also an artist, a trained animator from Cal Arts, who also does comic books, giving away copies of their comics and signing things at comic book stores.
Yeah, a little store in Cupertino, California called Wow Cool, and it was actually a really wonderful little get-together. We were kind of uncertain because Wow Cool is really, it's out of the way location, but they had a good turnout. Sales were excellent for them. And sales were excellent for my wife, and she got a chance to do a whole bunch of art for folks there on the spot. And it was great to be able to go out and hang out in a comic book shop all day, which is something I haven't really done in quite a number of years. So that was fun.
Yeah, and don't diss the shirts. The shirts, they are the ones who are the boss.
That's right. Awesome shirts.
Indeed.
Of course, I'm wearing the more awesome of the two, but that's...
Yeah, so we're on this topic of shirts. If we were to take all of Cat's Paw's, T-shirts of various types and stack them on top of each other, they'd be taller than he is, and he is not short.
No.
So we had a question about before we get started. What are the rules about discussing the Canadian episodes? Well, given that most of you guys get your stuff from YouTube. Don't discuss today's episodes. If nothing else, we haven't seen them.
And I am not caught on all the Canadian stuff too. So if you can be nice to me and not discuss anything,
Baron, Rainbow Dash's parents are serial killers.
Woo!
Cheerio.
I thought Richard Dreyfuss was her dad. Hey, Robert Vexen, glad you could join us.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, first things first, before we do anything else, we have to take care of the most important business of the show. That would be the brain lubricant.
Yes, for Kel-chan, just since you're new here, one of the things is that I draw best when I have some brain lubricant, because otherwise the gears grind, and they crunch, and they make noises and everything like that. So, Caradwin here, along with being tech support, is also bartender.
I fake it.
Yeah.
So, one cocktail every week. We've only repeated a couple of them. I'm going to change to the cocktail camera.
Yes.
That would be this guy right here.
Ding. Cocktail camera. Behold.
Behold, behold.
Yeah. It unsteady cap.
This is Princess Bartender. Behold. Behold. We are doing the Bourbon Collins. It's a variant on the Tom Collins, except we're using bourbon as
Yes.
the alcohol. This is a very simple one. It does not require a cocktail shaker or anything like that.
Or a strainer.
Yeah, and it's very simple. It's a variant, actually, of a whiskey sour. Lemon juice and bourbon are the main things. What makes it a Collins is the club soda.
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to eyeball the amounts here. So brain lubricant here. So for this one, you want about 2 shots of bourbon.
So about 2 ounces.
Big shots.
There.
Well, these is the skinny part.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And there's a lot of ice there. There's ice in there for volume, too.
Exactly. That's what we keep saying, anyway.
By the way, I have a designated driver. Don't worry, folks. Cat's Paw's my designated driver.
All right, this is freshly squeezed lemon juice.
From his backyard.
Actually, from a neighbor's tree.
Ah.
They don't know that.
Oh.
And this is simple syrup, which is essentially 1 cup of sugar and 1 cup of boiling water. Mix it up together, then let it cool very slowly and carefully. Sugar has a high specific heat. It holds a lot of heat and can cause a nasty burn.
Very nasty.
And then a little bit of grenadine for a little bit of extra sweet and to make it pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do. Do-do-do-do.
There.
Do-do-do. And then I'm going to add some club soda to make it fizzy.
Makes it a great summertime drink.
And when you first present it, it has that beautiful layering because the grenadine, the lemon juice, the bourbon, all that has a higher, it's denser, has a higher specific gravity than the club soda. So I'm going to switch back here. Wheat. Boop. There we go. And it looks very pretty.
Yes, very stylish. And
Enjoy.
I shall. And of course, now I can stir it up after I've
absolutely.
I've admired the workmanship of the bartender. Always take a moment to enjoy what your
Presentation is part of it. They work hard to make it pretty.
right. And just don't like slug the thing back down. It's like not appreciating an artist's efforts.
There we go. Oh, at one point, just as a side thing, a lot of folks who are new to bar culture don't know what an appropriate tip is for a bartender. They basically make 100% of their money from tips.
Yeah.
I don't think they even get minimum wage in most places.
Mm-hmm.
An appropriate tip, particularly if you're going to be there for a while, is 50%. No, not 15 or 20. 50%. That's the way bar culture works. If you tip your bartender well, he will be back more frequently to top you off and make sure you're doing okay. He will offer his special drinks that take more effort to make and maybe make the drink a little bit stronger.
Yep.
If you stiff him, he's going to be a stranger to you.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, be nice to your bartender because they're taking care of you. They're also watching after your health.
Exactly.
All right, so I'm going to move this. Whoop.
And if you take good care of your bartender and you go to a bar frequently, they will start remembering what you like.
Right. Bartenders, by the way, also they're usually allocated. You can do 10 or 20 or 30 free drinks. For your good customers a night. You want to be on that list? You want to get comped?
Yeah.
Be nice to them.
Yep.
Yeah. Hyphen 50%. Is what I usually do is 100% for the first drink and 50% thereafter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Again, at hotel bars and things like that, well, obviously with the prices there, you might want to throttle back a little bit, depending on whether or not you're on a expense account.
Yes.
Give freely, but not of your own.
Yeah.
Machiavelli said that.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, you have been busy. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Taxi. Never forget your taxi driver.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been awfully busy. In fact, what I'm going to be showing you guys tonight, as far as artwork, is not everything I've done. I just started adding it all up yesterday afternoon and realized that we'd be here for like 45 minutes if I was talking about everything I've drawn since the last time I saw you guys. So we're going to hit kind of some of the high points.
Mouse.
Yes.
Encoder. All right. So let's. So Arnie, so actually, we just got started. What you missed was the mixing of the daily cocktail, which today is a Bourbon Collins.
That's excellent.
Nom, 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 nom. It's basically a fizzy whiskey sour.
Yes.
All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at what you've been up to for the past couple of weeks here.
Yep.
Wait.
And, well, one of the things is if some of you folks follow me on Twitter, you've already seen this, or on DeviantArt, but especially if you're on Twitter, you saw this first. I just hit 600 followers on Twitter, which I got a lot faster than getting to 500, or 300, or 400. So,
Celebrating, yeah.
yeah, I'm celebrating. And Bettina basically decided that, Fluttershy helped her for 500, that she would have Fluttershy come back, and Fluttershy's going to be basically helping celebrate 100 milestone marks until we get to at least 1,000.
All right. Okay, and this actually is fan art for a gentleman named Mark Stanley, who has one of the longest running web comics anywhere.
Forever.
Over 3,000, comics.
Yep.
This is Freefall.
Yep. And this was actually a Claus Patreon reward.
Right.
He asked me to draw Florence. And I haven't drawn Florence in well over a decade at least. So I'll go, yeah, sure, I want to go back and give this a try.
Oh, yeah, and besides, everybody loves Florence.
And it's always fun watching her fix Sam's mistakes.
All right, I believe this is another Patreon reward.
Yes, it is for Rubber Vixen.
Rise and shine.
Yep,
Yeah, I imagine getting into those pajamas may take a little bit of extra time.
it does. But, she sleeps very comfy in her sarcophagus. So
Yeah, just for a brief nap, a couple centuries here, a couple centuries there. It adds up. But all right, let's go to your dreamscape. Let's see. I believe the first one of this
it's
is
failure
Yes, that would be this guy
right there.
All right, tell us about what's going on in your dreamscape.
Well, I've been posting all these sketches up on DeviantArt and on Twitter and on FA, showing Apple Bloom doing all these wild, crazy things in the dream realm. Well, this was the first dream arc that really got that all rolling. Luna was dealing with a young colt by the name of Stonemane, who was having these horrible nightmares about being chased by dragons. And his problem is that, if you guys have been following me on DeviantArt, you know about the whole thing. There's the War of the Dragons in the north and the battle at Fort Shield. By accident, both of his parents were assigned to the same location, Fort Shield. Usually, the equestrian military tries, if it's a married couple, they try splitting them up so they're not all at the same location. But
just in case, just in case happened. And Stone Spine, basically, his Stonemane's dad was in field artillery, and he was killed almost immediately when the outer magazine went off for the fort, and then his mother was killed a few minutes later trying to get wounded into the inner keep so they could treat them. So Luna's been dealing with this problem. Actually, next one we would probably want to go to would be reaching out. Reaching out, okay.
Yeah.
All right. You don't see this, you don't see this.
You didn't see that, you didn't see that. So Luna was really kind of trying to decide, what am I going to do about this? And Celestia basically said, well, you do have this one pony that apparently has been showing lots of potential, and you're teaching them. Maybe she can help. And Luna was very uncertain about this because, one, Apple Bloom's been making great strides in my dreamscape on her dream training, but she's only a little filly. And there's a little thing that, Apple Bloom remembers that her parents died not that long ago in her life. And so there's some really
something in common, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's also landmines there.
Yes, there is. So basically, Apple Bloom said, okay, I'm willing to do it. My only condition is I can barely remember my parents, and when you were going around inside my head, pulling all those spell seeds that were left behind by deception, did you find any dreams of my parents? If so, I'd like to see them again, at least for one more time. And Luna said, okay, I'll do that, but of course, after we're done with this. So she takes Apple Bloom to the Stonemane. That'd be basically Into the Unknown.
Yeah, is that in this group?
It should be. It's one of the two of them flying along.
Right there. There we go.
And, of course, in the dream realm, you can be anywhere you want almost instantaneously if you know where you need to get to. But, Luna took the time to basically kind of brief Apple Bloom on what's going on. And Apple Bloom, of course, had zillions of questions. Well, what happens if this? What happens if he wakes up while I'm inside his dream fabric? Do I get stuck inside his head? No, that's not going to happen. Don't have to worry about it. So she shows up basically in Stonemane's dream. That'd be Pony. I see you. It's this basically creepy, abandoned version of Baltimore. And the dragon shows up.
Yep, he's reliving the same nightmare night after night.
Yep. And Luna had told her it'd be okay to contact Stonemane if you want. I wouldn't tell him that you're basically another pony inside his head. And definitely don't tell him that you're working for me, because that was part of the problem was Stonemane, because his grandfather told great ghost stories, automatically assumed that Luna was still Nightmare Moon. And it wasn't amusing because this is the first time we ever have Apple Bloom swear on camera.
Oh, horse apples!
Oh, crap!
Yeah. All right, so I think next one is we need a plan. Is that
Yes,
correct?
we need a plan.
Yeah, there we go. Wait.
So, of course, Apple Bloom can fly, so she did the superhero thing.
Yeah, and she can also, because she is self-aware in her dream, she can assign herself armor.
Yeah, and manipulate objects in the dream fabric she's in. Now she's in Stone Main's, so it's a lot harder. So anything that she creates, she had to kind of get Stone Main to agree to it. And finally, she came to this idea after they kind of escaped it. Hey, wait a minute. Your dad was in artillery. Did you ever read any of his books or get a chance to study, what he was doing? Oh, yeah. So he gets this idea. Because it's really a good idea if Stone Main takes care of the dragon, because that way it's a victory for him. So she starts convincing him of this idea. Well, wait a minute. What if you had a cannon? Well, cannons aren't much good. No, what if you had a big cannon, the biggest cannon around? So she creates this cannon. Oh, by the way, hello, Blue Bingle. And, creates it. Now, of course, she's not a military person. She's a little filly. And the first thing she can think of is this toy cannon that her big brother, Big Mac, got one time. And so she creates this big, gigantic toy cannon. And Stone Main, unfortunately, is one of those
annoying.
Detailed nitpickers. And he starts nitpicking the thing apart. Of course, every time he starts nitpicking at the object,
it starts to derez.
Right, so stop it! Finally convinces him that, look, you can do this, and you're the only one that can do this. And gets him on board, and they have to basically sucker the dragon to break into the warehouse where they're hiding, which they succeed in doing. And good old, Tusky there comes bursting through the door, and that's the last thing he does. And it may have been a black powder cannon, but at least in my dream, it had this wonderful Yamato wave motion cannon sound effect.
It was very important, by the way, that the cult was the one that activated the cannon.
Mm-hmm. As Apple Bloom said, "I'm your gun crew. Tell me what to do." And he won. The end result was, dragon gone, warehouse gone, big old honking trench basically going off into the horizon. He, at that point, Apple Bloom kind of came over and said, hey, you won. And she lets her armor go away because, they're done fighting. And at this point, Stone Main suddenly realizes that, oh, you're a filly. I've never really had a dream of a filly yet. And you're a blank flank like me. And this is just weird. And he's just kind of fixated on the fact that it's weird. And he's goes back and he starts pushing Apple Bloom in the butt, which he finds very, very
uncomfortable.
Can we talk about something other than my butt? Now, eventually she convinces, Stone Main that, hey, look, yes, I'm, because he puts the two together, because you're not a part of my dream. You're not a real pony, aren't you? He goes, yes. And she goes, yes, I am. He goes, how'd you get in here? He goes, well, I'm learning from someone to do this. And he's going, who teaches
that kind of thing?
And she goes, Princess Luna.
Uh-oh.
And initially, it's funny, her armor had the moon logos, but it was a different color, and actually that comes up in a later thing where you've never noticed? And he goes, nah, just didn't ring a bell. Luna shows up, and at that point he goes initially from being terrified to, she starts saying, look, we want to do everything we can to help you, and then all this anger and frustration and rage he had built up in him comes out, and he dumps on Luna.
Yeah, it's your fault they were both there. You made the mistake. You guys could barbecue the dragons right away because you did, and you let them die.
Yeah. If you really want to help me bring my parents back, which of course is not something that the sisters can do, and he eventually agrees to let Luna help her, but as he points out, he says, I don't forgive you for what you've done. You can help me, but I've not forgotten what has occurred, but maybe through your actions you can earn my.
Yeah. But remember, he's a kid. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Apple gets sent back to her dream fabric.
Big victory.
Yes, she is so excited.
I know that's gonna get me my cutie mark.
And she wakes up and no, because this is season 2, and she's still in season 4 in my dreamscape. She's still a blank flank. And she was absolutely horrified by this fact because,
she did something epic. By God, that should make your butt get a tattoo.
That's right. Twist got one for making candy. Diamond Tiara got one for just being annoying. The world's out to get her. So that's something that Luna's dealing with. And, of course, it was a school day.
Little black rain clouds.
Yeah, so she has to go back to school. And Now, of course, some of you folks that are my patrons on Patreon, you know that there's more past this, and tomorrow will be the last the last major posting for the little small secondary mark. They'll be going up.
All right.
Hey, Daisy, you can make it. Glad you could join us.
Right, the other thing that Baron's been doing a lot of lately has been yoga, or couples yoga.
Yeah, and this is another Patreon reward. This is for Sura. That's two of his OCs. The bottom, the unicorn, is Glory Seeker, and the griffin is Tabitha. And that's part of my Friendship is Yoga series.
Yeah, all right. Well, say there are other forms of friendship.
Mm-hmm. Now this, this was
Actually more like
yeah. This was a commission for Calpain that I did. Of course, his character Calpain, and then another person's OC by the name of Coco.
Yeah, that's a hot cocoa. Yeah,
Yeah,
all
it's hot Coco.
right. Oh, I see you got me a little Macintosh plushie. All right. We also have. Okay. People were talking about aircraft carriers a little bit earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Have an aircraft carrier, the USS Corregidor.
Yeah, this was a commission for Colt Silvered in the chat. He wanted me to do a picture of the USS Corregidor, and the Corregidor is of the Casablanca class of escort carriers from World War II. They
do not look a thing like the classic aircraft carriers you see in the movies because they are a very different,
But they performed a very important role.
Right.
They were the largest class of carrier ever built. They built 50 of them, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
And we always think of the big flat tops, the Essex classes, and everything like that. And the
yeah.
big,
My dad served on 3 different Essex class aircraft carriers.
and the big air battles of the Pacific and everything like that. But these little Casablancas, they were convoy escort. They were anti-submarine. They did support for amphibious operations.
Yep. They were only 500 feet long.
Yeah.
They basically were flat tops built on top of conventional hulls.
Yeah. They had like 2 elevators, and they did a lot of work. And really, the biggest moment of fame they have. I mean, they did lots of little, hundreds and thousands of little tiny important things for the war effort. But the Battle of Samar,
which was part of Lady Gulf, if I remember right.
Yes, Taffy 1, Taffy 2, and Taffy 3. If you want to read about people in the face of completely overwhelming odds and just facing, there's, I'm going to paraphrase, but there was basically an order given by one of the task force commanders, which basically said, this is an action from which survival cannot be guaranteed.
Yeah. In other words, not quite a suicide mission, but set your affairs in order.
Yeah, because basically it was destroyers, destroyer escorts, and these little escort carriers, which only do 17 knots, going up against Japanese heavy cruisers, battleships, light cruisers, and destroyers. A very strong group because they were primarily supporting the landing operations. They didn't have a lot of armor-piercing bombs, so they went out, they dropped depth charges, they dropped any bombs they had, they strafed the boats with their machine guns. They fired, this is the only time in history that a U.S. carrier fired its anti-aircraft guns at a surface ship in anger.
Yeah, in other words, you'll behave like a destroyer.
Yeah, they did everything they could. They got themselves shot to shit. But because they attacked with such much ferocity, the Japanese were going, holy crap, we've stumbled onto something a lot bigger than we were expecting, and they broke off. And that saved tens of thousands of Marines who are basically stuck on troop ships trying to get ashore
it was,
for landing.
There was an awful lot of Silver Stars and Navy Crosses awarded that battle for damn good reason.
I mean, that was 1944, and we'd had some points in 1941 and 1942 in the early days of the war when we didn't have a whole lot of assets out there, and guys kind of went out on. We know what the outcome's probably going to be, but this is 1944. We kind of figured we had the Japanese pretty well kicked already. Right. And all of a sudden, we popped out and they did this.
Yeah, what was the battle? This was part of the Battle of Lady Gulf, but this was the Battle of
Samar.
SAMAR.
Correct.
Yeah, and the same size as Navy LHDs. Yeah, so those were about 500 feet long. They were half the length. Half the length. Was it like 1/4 the displacement, and had 1/3 as many aircraft as like the Hornet, the Essex, the Yorktown. You know, the big famous ones.
Yeah. I mean, eventually some of the aircraft from Taffy 2 Task Force were able to land after they dropped and used up their ordnance, were able to put torpedoes and armor-piercing bombs, what few they had on, and send them out. But they were initially just attacking with just, standard high explosive.
Yeah. All right. So one more to go, and then we're caught up. Okay, getting back to tech a bit closer to home.
This was a commission piece. Well, this was a commission piece and a case of we made an oops in our database. First time it's ever happened with the Smudge Marks Ingleworks site. Somehow or another, we had a piece of artwork that had already been sold. And someone then came along and bought again.
Oops.
And was like, oh, cripes. So we contacted the client and said, look, we got 3 options we can do for you. We can either refund you the money for that piece. You can pick something else from the store, same price. It's not going to be matted, though. That one piece that they tried buying was mad. Or I can draw you something else. And he said, no, draw me AJ working on a jalopy.
Yeah.
So and I was very happy to find out that he knew about jalopy racing.
Right,
which is
something pretty specific.
Yeah, well, it's something my dad did.
Yeah.
At one point in the early days, it's kind of like proto stock car racing, and so I did this picture of AJ trying to get a 32 Ford up and running for the jalopy races at the Ponyville Fair.
Yeah, an old Ford Flathead
V8 with the original carb and air cleaner and.
Yep. The diagnosis was, y'all can tell that number 2 cylinder's firing a little bit early. Though of course everybody's trying to figure out how the hell could one particular cylinder fire early. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was amazing how people follow me on DeviantArt are going, you guys know a thing or two about cars.
We're all gearheads.
All right.
Okay, so before we get started, one last duty. We want to say thank you to somebody. Who do we want to say thank you to?
Yeah, we want to say thank you to University Art. Now, once again, for folks that are new to the stream and everything, I used to work for University Art for almost 20 years. And late last year, my former employer approached me and said, hey, we've actually been watching your stream, and we kind of like what we're seeing and everything, and we would like to, support you. So it's going to pop up here in the here.
For some reason, it's not being. Let's see if I can click this thing right here. If I say
use
that size,
technology, it's wonderful. But University Art actually does sponsors these streams, and I do get I get financial support from them. See, once again, this is why it's great having him here, because he can play around. I can sit here and talk, and he can play with all the buttons.
I can fix what I broke.
That's right. So they give me support every month through art supplies and everything, and in return, I take a moment to say they've got 3 stores in the Northern California. They have their headquarters in Redwood City. There's a San Jose store where I worked, and if you're up in the Sacramento area, they have one up there, and they should have, hopefully very soon, their online store back up and running again.
Actually, yeah, they were kind of relying on one of their distributors to host their website.
And they weren't doing a very good job.
Yeah.
So that's going to be done. And also, if you happen to be in the San Francisco Bay Area on June 3rd, University Art is hosting the You Create Day, and it's basically a tech trade fair. And I will be in the San Jose store, and I have been asked by the Sanford Company, the people who make Prismacolor pencils, to actually sit in their booth and do color pencil demo work.
Yeah, show your absolutely unique color technique. Is that a Flutterbat shirt?
Yes, it is.
Flutterbat is best bat.
Yeah, I have my new shirts haven't arrived yet. I've actually ordered a couple from We Love Fine. Hopefully next time we do a stream, you guys will get a chance to see the new shirts.
All right. So, what are you? I would say, what are we drawing? No, what are you drawing? There we go.
All right.
What are you going to be drawing for us today?
Well, I'm going to do something I haven't actually done on the stream. And it dawned on me today. I was kind of, I could do that, or I could do that. I write down a lot of Patreon rewards, and I did all request stream a few weeks back. So, but I realized I gotta get new stuff done for the Dreamscape.
You do.
So, folks, what you can see tonight, some of you folks are watching here in the stream. You're gonna see things even before some of my patrons on Patreon get a chance to see.
Ooh boy.
Yeah, so I'm going to be working on that. While I'm getting set up for that, I do want to say right now that next stream that we'll be doing will be coming up on my 2nd year anniversary of being out from University Art.
2nd year of making 100% of his living with his pencil.
That's right. And one of the ways that happens is through the support of my patrons. This could not happen without them.
That would be you guys.
Mm-hmm. So, one, I want to take a moment to thank all my patrons for what they do. And if you're not a patron, you just think about it, consider it. I mean, for as low as $1 a month, you can have a real impact on things. Or if you feel like, hey, doing $1 a month, my budget's kind of tight, but I'm enjoying what I'm seeing so far tonight. There's a little thing you'll notice down there called Stream Tip.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to, throw $1 or $2 in there.
He ain't going to say no.
Mm-hmm. That's right. So, all right, we're switched over here and getting to the right thing.
All right, so again, folks that are new, it looks a little bit dark now, but that's to try and enhance the contrast. Baron's pencils are
Very light at first.
So again, he lays out the roughs and the figure forms very lightly before he goes to heavier pencil.
Right. So what we're going to do is working on some more stuff in the Dream Realm with Apple Bloom.
All right. Let's move this thing over here. Oh, there we go. That's over there.
By the way, very good Bourbon Collins.
Glad you like it. Got enough to make another 2 or 3.
Probably be taking up on that offer in a little while.
Okay. Yeah. So interesting that you drew the Corregidor there. When I first saw that one crop up. My own father served on 3 different aircraft carriers. He got into the Navy just before the beginning of World War II.
There we are.
Yeah, let's see if we can boost that a little bit for you there, Mr. McClaw.
All right.
All right, that's these.
How's that better? Doing a mic test, McClaw. Testing. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Is that better?
How about that one right there? There we go, that one. Okay. So, my father served on the USS Hornet at the time of Coral Sea. The Hornet did not make it all the way into Coral Sea. It was the latecomer. But my dad managed to pick up, he was a fighter pilot, he managed to pick up malaria. So he missed Midway, which might not have been a bad thing. Otherwise, that would be somebody else here telling old man stories next to Baron. So he missed Midway with malaria, but later on he was assigned to the USS Randolph, CV-15, which was another Essex-class carrier, on the final push through the Marianas and up into the attacks on the Japanese homeland. After World War II, he served on the USS Tarawa, which was commissioned like a month before the end of the war. And it actually didn't see any combat action, but again, big world tour, showed the flag, blah, blah, blah. And I think the Tarawa later on, my dad wasn't assigned to it at the time, was one of the aircraft carriers that was fishing out astronauts out of the ocean. During the whole Mercury, Gemini, Apollo program.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was aircraft carriers are a family thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. My dad served on the Bahami Richard for a while, right when the Korean War was starting to ramp up, and then he got out of the U.S. Navy Reserve and went into the U.S. Air Force instead.
Yes, we do have a regular here who has served on the nuclear enterprise.
Yeah. And just so people can try to figure out what the heck is Baron drawing here, this is from a scene. It's going to come up pretty soon in the Dreamscape, where we have little Apple Bloom, and she's in a part of the Dream Realm where there's all these like floating islands, very kind of, you know, if you've brain just went out the window. Remember in just a moment, video game, awesome soundtrack. Bastion.
I guess the Hornet did indeed pick up the Apollo 11.
Yeah, if you played the video game Bastion, or played any of the Skylander games, then this might feel kind of familiar. It's the same idea. These are strange little floating islands in the sky.
In other words, it's a platformer.
Yeah. Of course, she can fly, so she doesn't worry about jumping and falling.
Hello, Sirius.
Skies of Arcadia, yeah, that also would work.
Or just about any Ratchet and Clank.
Or, you know, the Avatar movie, which had the floating.
Is there a written story that goes with all your art? Daisy, if you go to Baron's DeviantArt, baron-engel.deviantart.com, it's underneath the actually on the little logo on the screen. All of his Dreamscape art, MLP Dreamscape art, has some pretty extensive stories that go with them that are just the artist commentary on the post there. Sometimes it's 1,000 words each. It's pretty impressive.
Or more.
Yeah.
I generally try to keep my postings at no more than 1,200 words. Sometimes I'll break that if
well, there's time for more art.
Yeah. And if you go to the Equestria Dreamscape one, because of just how things worked out timing-wise and available technologies and everything, that one is the only Dreamscape I've done where from literally the first dream I ever had in the Dreamscape is documented. And it's one continuous story. So if you go to the MLP Dreamscape gallery, you can read literally all of the... you can follow basically what's happened that I've been able to get drawn and posted up of what's happened in my Equestria Dreamscape. Now, the Dreamscape postings only go up to effectively season 2. We're getting near the Royal Wedding. I'm in the season 4, but I don't have so many hours in the day. If I was maybe making scads of money at nothing out of Patreon, I could just literally sit around all day and just do Dreamscape stuff. But we got commissions and Patreon rewards we have to take care of and everything like that. But I'm still trying to make certain I put up at least a couple things a week, get people kind of caught up. Because I want to get folks to the Fort Trump. There's a trip coming up for my household. We're going to be going out of town for a while. And then there is the big event, and that is the Royal Wedding. And it's a very important thing. And it's a little bit grimmer than what happened in the TV series.
And for folks that are new, yes, I like torturing people with the keyboard.
And later he's going to break out the guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you were here last stream, you would have seen him and the manliest Brony actually doing a little bit of a blues jamming session.
But Dusty is off at Everfree.
Well, I figure next stream...
This is my baby right here.
Next stream, I hope to have him actually give us a con report from Everfree.
He'll be up there for a while. Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is my baby. This is... Yeah, I love my autographs. There we go. There we go. Ashley Ball, Peter New, the rest of the members of Hey Ocean.
Yes, Nothing Impossible. Yeah, ponies. In the Royal Wedding, ponies die. In fact,
That's what happens when you have an artillery barrage on a capital city.
yeah. Well, also too, there's one pony in particular who is very, very close to someone very important, and that pony makes a decision in an effort to try to change the course of a battle, and they make a choice that proves to be very, very costly.
Yeah, Wrath of Khan or Save the Whales. We'll say Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan. Star Trek II, we'll say 3, say Spock is Jesus. Star Trek 4, Save the Whales. Star Trek 5, Kirk versus God, best 2 out of 3.
Mm-hmm.
And Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Plot. Mm-hmm. Or Michael Dorn, I'm My Own Grandpa.
Yes.
I'm my own grandpa.
So yeah, there's this one point that Apple Bloom is basically in the dream realm, and it's like Sweet Apple Acres has been busted up into all these floating islands. And she's basically kind of sitting around trying to figure out what the hey has happened.
It done busted up.
Yeah, pretty soon we're going to have the whole origin of Apple Bloom and her obsession with scythes.
Yeah, so all those cool pictures of Reaper Bloom.
Yeah, where it all got started.
Finally catching up.
Mm-hmm. Especially if you folks, if you follow me on Twitter, you might have seen the piece I put up today.
Where is my orchestra so I can use a simple drone? Not the kind you fly neither.
No, really?
Not the kind that, let's say, that make up most of a changeling. You know. Choir, orchestra hit, harp, banjo, contrabass, cello, violin, marcato, synth strings, tremolo strings. I'll do the slow strings.
Yeah, Daisy, I'm going to see if I can, in the next week or so, get actually a little bit of a drawing thing, a size scale difference of the different styles of scythes, and just, try to get some multi-views of those things done. Especially with the new one that came up. There are actually some larger chunks of terrain. I haven't just put those in yet. I'm just kind of getting things kind of blocked.
I need 3 fingers, or three arms.
Three hands.
Yeah. I need to get one of those foot pedal boards. You know, the type that the type you usually see on like these big church organs, where you can play the bass notes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of them are like one little tree on, one little rock floating in the sky. And of course, Apple Bloom's going to start having some very interesting dreams herself, which are going to be something that are going to lead up to a very important event that happens after the royal wedding.
Fine. The eraser, I'm going to use that to wedge the key down.
Alright, that kind of blocks things in place here. Start getting some.
Does the word yacht sound weird to anyone else? It sounds like a Mongolian tent.
What's that?
Yacht. So nothing impossible. Does the word yacht sound weird to anyone else? Just look at it and say it aloud a few times. It's a strange bugger. Yacht. Yacht. Yacht.
It's actually derived from a Dutch word, if I remember correctly, for hunter. Because they were small warships used by the Dutch Navy. if I'm getting my naval history correctly. And it was JACT and CHT, and then there was a couple actually. That was a longer word, and they got shortened to jot, and then they got shortened to yacht. Hey, Colorado, glad you could join us. Glad you could make it back.
Indeedy. No loop or hole button on the keys. Well, I've got a sustain pedal, but but how the sustain pedal behaves depends upon the patch. And this particular keyboard is a more of an electric piano than anything else. I've got a regular synth, but it's over there on the other side. Got to point it right there. See, way over there. That's my regular synth. I like the feel of the piano keyboard better than the synth keybed.
Bleh.
That's what you call the actual physical keys.
Yeah, now that I've started doing a lot more writing, I'm beginning to understand why some writers talk, oh, no, I can't use that keyboard, or I can't use that, the keystrokes are horrible. It's like, okay, yeah.
We're going to get you a special keyboard. Mm-hmm. Let's see, who's going to back up to... Solaris. Let's see what Solaris is. Ooh, flutes.
Yeah, well, thank you, Army. I consider myself very, very shaky in my knowledge of naval affairs. I haven't committed the same kind of study to it that I have, like, say, aircraft or ground vehicles or small arms. But I've done enough projects where I've had to been asked, well, how does this work? Well, let me do some homework for you, because apparently you can't do that, so you're going to pay me to do it.
Xenon pad. Is my sustain pedal even sustaining? It's acting like it ain't. Well, we will take a look and see.
Oh, and for other folks, just so you know, he's not in the stream. At least I don't see his name there. Clear Skies, who's the creator of Roan. We had a special stream right before BabsCon with him on it. We have been confirmed for our tables for BronyCon. We have 2 tables. And so that is all a go. And we are very, very excited about that. And probably, actually maybe this week, I'm going to be doing my window shopping for getting prices for airline tickets. We're going back to BronyCon. So had a blast there last year. Really am looking forward to seeing some folks that I regularly don't get a chance to see on the East Coast.
Yeah, and apparently going to get a good spot in the dealer's room.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to see. We have the possibility of getting potentially a corner booth, which will be very, very nice. That's very prime real estate. There's also a chance I may be on a panel, the Pony Drawing Classroom panel, like I was last year.
How to draw pone. How to be a professional ponographer.
That's right.
That's somebody who records visual poems, by the way.
That's right, and I can show you how to do that, and hopefully this year I will be able to demonstrate that along with the other artists we had. It was really neat. We had we had Andy Price last year on the panel, and hopefully this year I will have not. Yep, time to change the lead. course, I reloaded today just to be sure. And hopefully I won't slam my hand in the bathroom door 5 minutes before the panel started, because that's what happened last year.
How?
Of course, it was really great because I just had gone through the whole thing in the spring of recovering from breaking my right clavicle, and pushing through and getting all the road work done. And I was so excited for the trip, and I was back there, and the panel was about ready to start. And I said, you know what, I'm going to take care of business before things start. And I went in there, took care of my business, and I was stepping out of the stall, and I was writing this checklist of, I need to do this, I need to do that, and I need to wham, not slam my hand in the door. And I showed up, and they were handing out bottles of cold water. And I said, I'll take 2 of those. And they, oh, you're really thirsty? I said, no, I need one for my hand. I'm starting icing my hand, my right hand on stage. And then we had all the fun of someone setting up their tablet and coming to the realization I'm not the only artist who thinks this. Everyone thinks that everyone else's tablet is set weird. Everyone else's tablet is set wrong.
It's hyper individual.
Yes. I'm starting to develop some rituals with mine. It's like, don't do this, don't go and change that.
And as Frank points out, break coming up pretty soon.
Yep.
For those of you who are new, we take a break once per hour on the half hour, 5 minutes. Go refresh your drinks.
Go stretch.
Go stretch. Go find some place to keep that drink that you drank about 3 or 4 hours ago, and now it's done with you. But that will be coming up about 5-6 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's just kind of it's this kind of weird, quiet, situation, And it's more or less the area in which random thoughts coalesce into more complete,
Manifest as solid.
yeah, in her dream fabric.
Tablets are buying on pickup items.
Good one, Cats. Good one, Cats. I have to share mine with my wife at the moment, though.
Buying on Equip, yeah.
I have to share mine with my wife, even though she is saving money up to buy her own Cintiq.
Yeah. My tablet is soul bound. Don't touch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the break did come up quick. Of course, we did spend a longer time than normal on the what amounts to the slideshow.
Right.
What's Baron been up to?
So
because again, it was 3 weeks
Yeah.
instead of 2, and he's been busy.
like I said, you guys didn't see everything I've drawn. I just
Yeah.
went through like the best of stuff.
Right.
So if you want to see everything I've been working on, go take a look at DeviantArt. That's where it's all happening.
Yeah, what's your current time delay, as it were, on Patreon? Is it 7 days? 5
Yes.
days? 7 days. Yeah.
And
Patreon folks, you see it a week early.
that's right. And Patreon just went live with a beta feature that lets me schedule when things will go public, which is actually good because I realized I haven't been publicly releasing any of the Dreamscape stuff. So now it'll start happening automatically. And I've been loath to go back in and make stuff public because it's my understanding if I do that, then everyone who's a patron is going to get like a new announcement. Hey, look, this piece went up. Oh, look, this new piece went up. And it's like, oh, great. It's like 30 or 40 pieces of work. Now it just happens automatically. Ari, I have not yet played with the Surface. My wife has. She's not certain whether it was the software that they had available or if it was the actual physical properties of the Surface Studio, but she was not horribly impressed by it. One of our roommates, Rindis, he has a first generation Surface, but he uses it just as like kind of a laptop. He loves it. Generic, yes. Ponies do use greenhouses in certain parts of Equestria for growing crops and growing certain plants that would just not work elsewise.
Daisy, are you playing hooky? Now, this channel is safe for work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You will see a bikini.
Yeah. We generally keep this, for all audiences.
Yeah. Oh, Ari, I need to talk to you after the after the stream. Let's see where you have Ari's contact information.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, divorce her. No.
She disapproves of your interest in ponies?
Yeah, man.
Oh, dear. I mean,
Well, your secret is safe with us.
yes.
Your secret is safe with us. Yeah. This is actually video game art. Yeah, that's it.
That-
Video game concept art.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. That's a ticket.
What does she feel about regular old boring
Boring.
furry stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, what about that?
Yeah, what do you think about that? Yeah, I need about 350. Yeah.
So it's okay for you to make possibly a version of Apple Bloom's Scythe, but she has problems about you drawing ponies. Love is strange. I've come to that realization being married now, but love is strange.
Yeah, well, you live with an animator, so you're guaranteed that your life is going to be a little bit odd.
Mm-hmm.
Animators are not like the rest of us.
Well, that's great, Daisy.
Hello, Daisy daughter. Yeah. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing, Ari. Not a bad thing. I'm not trying to serve you a summons or something like that. Yeah. Nanu. More calling Orson. Calling Orson.
Yes. Hey, Sevens.
Yeah, we'll probably go a little bit longer on this particular segment since we started the draw part a little bit late. So
yes.
about 5 minutes to go. Then we'll take our first break.
Mm-hmm. And then we'll be back and we'll work on something else. I just want to get to this point where I can always finish up the shading later.
Yep.
Well, this gives you guys kind of an idea how long it takes to get a piece of Dreamscape work done. Now sometimes it takes longer than this. Sometimes it's quicker.
Hello, Maya. That's Daisy daughter.
Ah,
My eye.
there.
My eye. That's it. My eye. My eye. My eye. My eye.
Oh, my eye.
Mia. Maya. Yeah, mine's pronounced Cardwin, though it's spelled Cardwin.
Well,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be Welsh, isn't it?
Gaelic, yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
close enough. That's probably gonna give me some hate.
Okay, well, let's say Welsh is a later Gaelic language. But no, it was actually the name of a Dungeons and Dragons non-player character. He was the local heavy that was the mysterious guy that nobody knew what he was all about. Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Can he be both? Back in 1988. I was in a game that I ran. Which reminds me, I need to start my D&D game up again pretty soon. So,
Yeah, your 5th edition.
5th edition. Need to get me some experience in 5th edition. I've got some couple of things in the pipeline, but I need to understand what modern role-playing games are like. I'm starting to see some patterns and some things that become very popular. Fate points, drama points, character points. That you earn by being characterful, even though you get your butt kicked, and then you spend it basically on bribes to the game master. I want the story to go like this. I want this to happen. Or can I re-roll that, please? Makes for more dramatic role playing. It's not as simulationist as as some of the games have been historically, particularly when they first start. So
I know Robert's hoping to, Clear Skies is hoping to record some Roan game sessions for YouTube and everything, especially with us, starting the process of getting ready for the next expansion book. The first expansion book.
Yeah. Hyphen, it's going to be behind a Jeep. You're probably not going to be spending a lot of time at 75 miles an hour with it. So the aerodynamics aren't quite as important. See, particularly if it's a four-wheel drive Jeep, that again, it's not really intended to be going faster than 55, 60 on the highway. At least the older ones weren't. 4x8, 6x8, and go either. What you might want to do is see if you can pick up one of those old cargo vans used, like Wells Cargo, I think is the company that makes them. And you can get, and this is stuff that people will lug around tools and stuff like that, and just do a conversion. Just make sure that you do something about that suspension, because basically a live axle that's not sprung is going to be very, very unhappy off-road.
Yeah.
Not to mention the content inside is getting the crap shaken out of them.
Did you have kidneys? You used to.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's actually something else I'd also think about doing. Was I've got some ideas for a Roan game setting that might just make some of you guys alpha testers.
Okay.
I'm telling you, nothing would make Robert happier than somebody besides him and his folks developing material for Roan.
Yep. Well, I know that we're already starting going back and forth with ideas for a game module that will be very near and dear to my heart, probably to quite a few of my
Hey, Bravo, hi.
followers and everything like that. And that is going to be one set on the Heavenly Body, Patina's ship.
Yeah. A wild Panzer VI appears. Roll D20 to determine what happens. On 1 to 19, it breaks down. On 20, it sinks into the swamp. They were big. Yeah, Duca. Yeah, actually, the Fate system was demoed on the most recent of Will Wheaton's tabletops.
Yeah.
They got the guy that wrote it to come on and run it. It was a very quick, very chaotic game.
Right.
Yeah, it's interesting stuff. But again, a lot of the modern stuff is a lot more cooperative between the players and the game masters, where the rules actually call for the players to be making storyline decisions, or or encourage the game master to say, so you open up the trapdoor and say a gust of foul air comes out. Then you look down, and what do you see? And then the players say what they see. And then the game master runs with it, and say, okay, we see the glint of gold. Yes, there is a bag of gold that was apparently dropped, and it burst open, scattering the coins across the floor. You see a skeletal hand resting atop the glinting gold that you saw.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then you
but everything else is dark. What do you do next? Like, aha! But you said gold. Now I'm going to tempt you.
Mm-hmm.
So. All right, it is actually just about time for a break. It is 6:37.
And I've got a point here where I can come back to this and work on this later. So let's go take a switch cam.
Stop it, guys! You're making me hungry.
Yeah. Welcome back. Apparently we had a little hiccup there for a moment.
Yeah, it was just in time for the break that the little Java update thing said, "Would you like to update Java now?" And everything came to a complete screeching halt until I gave it its answer, which was
go to hell.
Bugger off. Yeah, the software that we use is OBS, Open Broadcast Studio, and it is Java based, and therefore anything weird happens with Java. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, it's worth what you pay for it.
Yeah.
Cheap as free.
Yep. Well,
so we're going to actually say while you discuss what we're going to do next, I'm going to make you some more brain lubricant.
Yeah. Now, what we're working on next actually is related to Equestria Dreamscape stuff. It's not going to be from any particular dream per se, but I am going to be working on some development work. So I have his notes when I'm drawing certain parts of Dreamscape. And it's going to be a bit of armor design work I need to work on. In my Quest for Dreamscape, not everybody runs around in that kind of faux Romanesque type stuff. That's more,
Lorica segmentata.
yeah. And even then, my subconscious has rounded it out an awful lot more. And so we're gonna be doing something a little bit. I need to work on some stuff for like some of the Earth ponies because they have different style armor actually. By the way, Drakel, I think, or Drakel, I don't know how you pronounce your name. Welcome.
Drakel.
I think you're new. Welcome to the stream. We're back from our 5-minute get up and break.
Yep, and I may need to get more club soda.
Oh, May, goodness gracious.
Indeed.
Yes.
Lemon juice.
This is making
A bourbon Collins.
Luna's nighttime Snuggie armor. No.
That sounds like something that Alisu, who's a really good French artist, does cutest stuff, would do. Yeah, we'll see what we got.
Yeah.
It'll be a strong one.
Yes.
Yeah, that's going to be a strong one. I will go, I will fetch some more.
The bar ran out of soda.
Hey, Mr. Catspaw, could you bring up a bottle of club soda from the fridge, please?
Yes. Snuggle, not Snuggie.
Let's see if you heard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see where Catspaw, who's our moderator, has heard our call for club soda
Here,
on the
club
second
soda.
floor.
Right. Plush armor for the Nightmare movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fuzzy. It's made out of. It's made out of microfiber. That's
Hey,
it.
Copperchina, glad you could join us.
I have to go steal some more lemons. Actually, I have enough lemons there. It's just stealing
Yeah.
soda. Yeah. We have a neighbor about 3 or 4 houses down that has a lemon tree in the little margin between the street. They have about 5 feet of usually bushes that get a lot of spiders, and then you have the sidewalk, and they have a lemon tree there. Boop.
Oh, I have to admit, our garden is actually doing very, very well.
Hello, Mr. Copperchita.
Yes, we're going to be having lots and lots. Oh, we're making the Bourbon Collins.
Except I ran out of.
So we've called down to the bar, basically room service, and room service is going to be bringing up more soda in a moment for us.
Actually, I will be nice and go fetch it.
Okay.
All right, I'll be right back.
Yep.
So say, I hear.
Oh, hang on. Oh,
There we go.
oh, bravo.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Aha! Thank you to Mr. Catspaw, who sits downstairs and watches our show on the great big TV.
Generic does point out we need to give Catspaw 50% tip.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, how much did you pay for this again?
We paid $3.59.
Yeah, there you go.
So we'll throw a couple bucks at
There you go. There we go.
I'm glad you're enjoying yourself, Steel.
All right, and then we end up with.
Our two-tone. Which I'll make one tone.
There you go. Let's say bourbon. It's about 2 shots of bourbon, 1 shot of lemon juice. Fresh is better.
Always.
About an ounce or so of simple syrup. About half an ounce of grenadine to give that nice color and a little bit extra sweet. And then top it off with about a little more than half a bottle here of club soda. And that is the Bourbon Collins.
Mm-hmm.
The Bourbon Collins.
Okay.
All right.
Name in chat. Salud. Sorry, I'm trying to pronounce your name. I'm horrible at names.
That's Sitlaquatl.
Ah, yes. Well, if you're new to the stream,
Or Kitlaquatl.
welcome. We just got ourselves reloaded with.
Brain lubricant.
Now we're going to get back to drawing because you people did not tune in and sit around and watch old guys drink.
Yeah, blow some bubbles in it. Yeah. How about we go to that camera right here.
Yes.
And while you are setting up for the next drawing, we will do our duty.
Yes, our hourly.
Yep, we would like to say thank you to University Art. University Art is a high-end art supply store and framing store here in San Francisco Bay Area that Barron worked at for about 20 years. Mm-hmm. And they were kind enough to offer Barron a sponsorship a lot of free art supplies and stuff in return for us saying thank you. So thank you very much to University Art. They have shops in Sacramento, Redwood City, and San Jose. They do very high-end framing. They have framed Picassos and Rembrandts and original Nobel Prizes. I wouldn't trust my my high-end framing. By that I mean the stuff that I get Barron's, the Barron's big commissions done, to anybody else. Good folks.
Yep.
All right, so back to it.
Yes, back to it.
Wheat.
All right, and what I am going to be working on here is some Earth Pony, effectively alpine armor. I've done some sketches of this, but I'm trying to get a few little details worked out. And of course, alpine units always have specialized needs. That's one thing, you're working at very high altitudes.
And the other thing, your equipment is often very different because it has to survive. Among other things, metal gets brittle. Often in sub-freezing temperatures, and stuff that works fine in warmer climates might become, literally shatter in some of the coldest climates in the world.
Also, it will quite often be a little bit lighter because, well, you're at high altitudes and you're lugging the stuff around. Even if you're an Earth Pony, this can be a load. So,
cat's paw. You might. I might cut back a little bit on the bourbon content, but again, if you like the whiskey sour, you'll like this. Again, it's basically whiskey, lemon, and sugar, just like the whiskey sour, except that instead of an add-on of an egg white, which is the way it should be done, the add-on is grenadine and club soda. So probably.
I put that ear in the wrong place. Poor pony. I put that ear in the right place. There, now it's in the right place.
Yeah, Barron is indeed a skilled framer. Problem is that Goldfur's on another continent.
Yeah, he's down under, and boy, did we have a bit of adventure getting him his artwork. Thank you, Australian government.
Duca wants to know, is there a tribe of Scottish mountain goats? Are there goots?
No. At least on that.
Nay, laddie, they're Scottish sheep.
Yeah.
What else would they be? It's the law. I'm sorry. No, I'm not. Raise your glass and say salud. Best Scottish character in all of animation is the Scotsman from Samurai Jack.
Yes.
Oh, he was great. Yeah, those two worked really well. A little bit of Bassinet action there.
Yeah, it's kind of this Bassinet Barboot style helm.
With a little Saleh thing down the back of the neck.
Yep. And it's mostly pad armor. They'll sandwich some chainmail in certain parts of the thing, but it's primarily lots of wool, actually. Wool padding, which even if you get wet, will still help you stay warm.
Yeah. And that's actually something a lot of people don't realize, is that plate mail was not, Dungeons and Dragons aside, was not necessarily the be-all, end-all of, surviving getting hit. Plate mail was very good against swords, particularly the earlier swords that were slashers, and against arrows that didn't have a lot of energy behind them, in other words, at range. But historically, there were layered cloth armors that were just about as effective, and a lot cheaper too. Again, there are channels that all they do is analyze, modern armor versus crossbow, or bullet versus, scale mail, and we could come to the conclusion that plate mail was a very limited application thing.
Yeah. Well, basically, like any design, you decide what you're going to be focusing on, and then you would just accept the others as basically your compromise. It's like you can't have anything perfect, so this is what we think is going to be our primary concern.
Yeah. Bassinet. Bassinet. It's that is a French helm. Smooth, sort of pointy on the top. You know, the whole bullet head thing there. The idea being to encourage deflection. You know,
Right.
you get hit by something, it'll skip off instead of transferring its energy to your brain. BASINET is a ET, I believe.
Yes.
Very popular in the SCA, where it's all blunt force trauma. We're trying to say to.
And it's kind of an evolution. They think it might have originally started as the secondary skull cap that was worn underneath the great helms. And then eventually people said, well, wait, I'm just going to wear this instead. And they ditched the great helms and went with the bassinet.
No, they work.
Bassinet, I think it's bassinet. It's French. I mean,
It is very French,
is the monkey? If monkey, are you still in the stream? Is bassinet? Is it silent T at the end? I think it is.
Yeah. Yeah. They slice your ear off. Well, better to lose an ear than.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I would imagine that like some would keep their ears inside, others would have little cages around them.
Mm-hmm.
But the cages would then become a target themselves and sort of a big lever to
Exactly. And
just swing deliberately over somebody's head. Well, they probably wouldn't duck, but if you clip the cage, you could really mess up their neck. If nothing else, jack their helm down so that they can't see, and then you can be bad to them.
And there's also a question: do you sacrifice being able to hear clearly for being able to have that protection?
Yeah.
There's always a series of trade-offs.
Yeah. Well, I say, monkey had to leave because of a bad connection. And as for Australian government interacting with Goldfur's art, we will let Goldfur tell that particular tale.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just say that customs people around the world are all carved from the same stone.
Yep.
So.
I mean, it's a thankless job in many cases, but I just sometimes wonder, could you just do this a bit better? Was that really necessary? Because we had about 2 weeks of, do we have this? Do we not have this? Is this, for the first time ever have I had a commission go completely AWOL. I've been shipping work around the world for 20 plus years now. I've had some close calls, but I've never had anything go completely. And of course, it had to be on a big ticket, important.
Yeah.
piece of work.
Yeah. Goldfur's telling the story here. Customs decided it wanted a large chunk of money. A complex import form filled out before releasing it.
Yep.
Then eventually got it to, I guess.
About a month after I shipped it.
Yeah.
Because I shipped that before BabsCon. And yeah, I'll take your advice, Goldfur. Next time if we ship anything down there, I'll actually physically write the address on the cardboard, not just on the
Right
fill out the
in many
information form.
places.
Yeah.
Yeah. The big thing about customs is that usually the people that have problems with them are not citizens of the country in question, so they have much less recourse.
Mm-hmm. Like me.
Yeah.
But of course, once it left U.S. custody, basically all my ability to do anything kind of went out the window. And we didn't ship it via UPS or FedEx because that would have tripled the price
Yeah.
shipping it. And I've shipped to Australia multiple times.
Yep.
The folks that haven't had any problem. And they'll say like, oh.
All it takes is one bad customs officer to mess it up for you.
Yep. And of course,
Kind of like baggage handling.
yeah. Now, of course, you can actually
Punish yourself, cat's paw. Punish yourself. Actually, I will delegate that one to Brian, whom I hear downstairs. Punish him.
Yeah. Now, of course, the other thing too is that you can also add a visor to this this helmet arrangement.
That one was Brian's fault.
Was that? Oh.
Yeah, one could say it's customary. Sunglasses.
Oh.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he cooks dinner, and he cooks good dinner, so.
That's a smug pone. Yeah.
But some of this armor is going to show up in a Dreamscape posting not too far down the line.
Yeah. Orca brings up, the recent ransomware campaign.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that was targeting. I mean, plenty of other people got caught up in it, but it was targeted at hospitals because the ransomware, the stuff that encrypts your hard drive and says "Give me bitcoins,"
Yeah.
was apparently all had a timer,
Yep.
and to do the encryption, and then everywhere at once. It was targeting medical because if all the hospitals in the area are screwed, you got no choice but to pay up. It's not like you can transfer your patients somewhere else. So this is one of the most cynical of the cyber crimes yet.
Yeah.
The company I work for, we do computer security, but it's not really aimed at malware. We're mostly looking for industrial espionage. But we're actually very proud we were able to actually locate in one of our customers, you got this, something bad's going to happen at midnight. Make sure these machines are not on. Make sure you have backups.
Yeah.
You'll be reading about this in the morning, And then this went off, and we got a call from them saying, "Thank you."
Yep.
Yep. And Rebel says this is looking like a pony version of Eowyn from Lord of the Rings. Well, hopefully she doesn't get beat up as much.
Yeah.
The Maiden of the Shield Arm, because that's what the Lord of the Nazgul broke with his mace.
Yeah.
Right through her shield.
Yep. Well, they don't have a very good time of things because they accidentally stumble upon something that, and they just
Armor and swords ain't going to help against you.
Right, exactly. Well, also too.